Hi everybody. I want to talk to you a little bit today about what you can expect and what you may end up dealing with if you find yourself in a situation where you and your spouse are either divorcing or potentially divorcing. A spouse may come to you and indicate that they're unhappy, or sometimes even straight out say, hey, I want a divorce. And what you have to be aware of is that whether or not you go to see an attorney, there are things that you can do to protect yourself. One of the things too to remember before you do anything is always try to sit back, clear your mind and say, okay, let's make a list of things that we need to think about and do and take care of. Remember first and foremost that any divorce issue, at least in Pennsylvania, is separate and distinct from child custody, child support, spousal support, alimony, those types of issues. The divorce is just about the two people, the spouses, the husband, the wife, saying, hey, we, for whatever reason, sometimes someone meets somebody else, sometimes it's just a fact where people just realize, hey, that we're not happy and we're not getting along. But that is what it comes down to, is those two people and the property issues. Sometimes we have people say, gee, well, my name's not on the mortgage, my name's not on the deed, my name's not on the title to the car. That does not matter. Anything that is obtained during the marriage is marital property. And even if it's not obtained during the marriage, such as a house, the difference, the change in value, up or down, can go into a marital settlement agreement. Things like pensions. You may have a pension that you opened before you got married. Well, the increase or decrease in value of those assets are going to be marital property. So just keep in mind that just because you may say, gee, my spouse's name isn't on this, it doesn't mean that it may not be relevant. Bear in mind that if you have joint bank accounts, if you have joint credit cards, the first thing you want to do is if you really think there's a possibility that you're heading down the divorce track, or even if things are adversarial, oftentimes it's a good idea to open your own separate bank account, because I've seen it happen where one spouse or the other will go into joint accounts and clean them out, or one spouse or the other will take a joint credit card that has little to no balance on it, and the next time the person gets the statement and they say, I have a $10,000 balance. Well, the spouse, knowing that the other spouse, knowing that they are planning to get a divorce, went out, bought a bunch of new furniture, a bunch of new clothing, whatever it might be. So bear in mind that when you're in that situation, consider anything that you may have, such as joint bank accounts, joint credit cards, that may be something that that's an asset that could end up being a liability to you in the event that your spouse, or if it ends up being an estranged spouse, gets angry or even just says, hey, I'm going to be selfish. Bear in mind also, one other thing to remember is try to seek advice from a legal professional. Even if it's just a consultation, there are a lot of things that are going to be going through your mind when these things happen. Most of the time people are very distraught, very emotionally traumatized, and you're not thinking clearly. And it's a good idea, even if you don't particularly know what the near future holds, to at least go get somebody, retain somebody. First of all, that means your spouse can't retain that person, and it also means that you're going to have somebody on your side that you can put on retainer and call when you have a question or a problem. One other thing that often happens on the other end of the spectrum is when people are getting along, they just don't want to be married anymore. It is possible to use the same attorney. You have to sign waivers and such, because technically it is a conflict of interest for an attorney to represent both parties in a divorce. However, if all you want to do is get divorced and you've essentially agreed upon everything and how you're going to distribute the property, the marital property and things like that, there are times where it's permissible and possibly even advisable for you both to use the same attorney. And if you come in and see someone like us, we can say to you, gee, it sounds like this is a good situation for that or not. There's one other aspect to consider, and that's collaborative law. Sometimes when people don't want to fight and don't want to litigate, there's a process called collaborative law where you can sign a document that says we're going to agree to take care of this divorce in such a way that it's not going to be litigious, where we agree not to litigate, and we're going to handle everything amicably and between the parties. And that's something else to consider if in fact you and your spouse decide that you're going to divorce, but the relationship remains amicable. As always, if you have questions, email us, call us, go to our website, www.heinlaw.com. We'd be happy to set up a time to meet with you.